When you are in the province of KwaZulu-Natal and you are using RO2 just few kilometers from Uthugela Bridge, that's when in 1878, on the 11th of January, where the British government presented their ultimatums to the king of the Zulu nation, King Cetshwayo Dlamvuzo Kampande Kajama Kasenza Makhona.
And I also wish to thank the Department of Arts and Culture for helping us, partnering with us in this initiative, because as we are faced with this particular pandemic, our kids, even if we die today, they will still ask, who are we? Knowledge for self produces love for self. Love for self will help you to do better for self. So this is why we are here today. So now, they say when our forefathers would visit maybe the palace, Ondin, holding these imbies or meetings around what must be done, I mean, since the colonial or the colonialists are putting forward these ultimatums, they must disband what you call the regiments or the armies, they must preach freely the gospel of the Lord. King Cetshwayo continued that we need to do this thing through the negotiation processes, not the battlefield.
So the ultimatum tree symbolizes one of the most key reasons of the Battle of Isandlwana that took place in the north of KZN and Engutu, next to the mountain called Isandlwana, a mountain that is shaped like a Zulu heart, like a Zulu rondovel, Isandlwana. King Cetshwayo never wanted to go to the battlefield. He insisted on the negotiation processes. But the people like Danford and Sir Henry Battle and other leaders, as they were sipping tea under the tree, they insisted that they want to go to the battlefield because they knew that they were going to win since they were technologically advanced for this battle. And now it is said as well that one of the most compelling moments was when Sihayo of the Ngobese clan, the most trusted man around King Cetshwayo, killed one of his mothers from the polygamous marriage. The reason for that, it was because his mother was now working for these British statesmen as a tea girl, and it was assumed that she was now dating one of these statesmen. So that made this guy angry. How can his mother join these people who want to confiscate their land, who want to disband their armies? So now, after he killed his mother, the British Army wanted the matter to be resolved through the processes of the British judicial system that was called the Republic of Natalia at that time.
The colonialists now, they were saying this matter must be solved through the processes of the English. And then King Cetshwayo said, no, but this is the land of our forefathers. This matter can't be resolved through the English processes. That's where the problem started now. They said, it's either we go to the battlefield or you bring Sihayo and we deal with him. And then later they said, at least you give us 200 cows. But they wanted these.
Unyanika Ipumuli is the legacy of Unozinja, who was a mother of Uzulu and Nkwabe. And later this became a legacy of King Shaka Kasenza Ngakhona. Those cows were white in color. Unozinja used to breed them including other cows that were called amanguni or nguni cows. And then King Cetshwayo went to the regiments and said, "Amabheshe thanxanye," meaning we have no choice but to pay this fine of these cows.
Amabheshe thanxanye, so let us pay this fine. And then amabutho athi, "Amabheshe thanxanye, amabheshe You know, they were so angry. And then they took these cows as they were moving with these cows to pay them to the British government. On the way, they said, "You know what, let us kill these cows." As they were traveling with these cows, some of the regiments said, "This is the legacy of our forefathers that can be dated back as far as the era of King Shaka. The best thing that we can do at this stage, let us stab these cows and eat them and then go back to the king carrying the skins." And then they did that. They went back. But we couldn't. We can never betray King Shaka. We can never sell the legacy of our forefathers. So now they went back to the king and said, "We are ready now to fight." So this thing continued over and over up to the day where the regiment said to King Cetshwayo, "We are going ahead. We need to take these people on." Siyawungena ngomnyama siyadeni, siyawungena ngomnyama kamthashana, bathi kwakhala umagazini esilungwini, siyawungena emzini yamakhosi, bathi zembe atinasiya zomqaloka, bathi kwakhala umagazini esilungwini zomqaloka, Sawungena Isandlwana singene ngomnyama. 1879 January 22, in the north of KZN, Enquthu or Esinquthu Senkosi, the battle was between the regiments of the Zulu nation, comprised of different amabutho. You name it, uDlogo, uThulezikwe, iNyosi. INyosi, they were even involved in the Battle of 1856. The Battle of Indonda-Kusuka. So most of these regiments, amabutho, were trained by King Shaka. So now, who are the key players of this battle? On the Zulu side, it was King Cetshwayo Kampande, who was a king of the time, the king of the Zulu nation. And then Mchingwa Mahole, who was a general commander or an overall commander of the Battle of Isandlwana. Approximately, he was like between the ages of 74 and 76 years old. They say that this battle was 10 kilometers apart in terms of the distance in between. So you can imagine a 76-year-old or 74-year-old running from that point to that point. The horns of a buffalo now, that was the structure of the battle. Singing, kwantu the shumale, soke swashisa manxeba, yeah. Bathi kusho mhlambisi, shoma sambe, shoma sambe kusho mhlambisi, shoma sambe, oh shoma sambe kusho mhlambisi, awu shoma sambe kusho mhlambisi, swashisa manxeba, yeah.
kusho umhlambisi hloma sambe hloma sambe kusho umhlambisi. It was a very, 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 very sorrowful moment, and yet they had so much vive and tenacity to fight for the future of their kids.
And then the Prime Minister or Undunankulu KwaZulu of that time was Umnyamana Kangangalele, and also who is a direct ancestor of Umntwana wakwapindangene uPrince Mangosuthu Buthelezi at the time, and one of his ancestors as well, Umkhandumba, who is a father to Umatole, fought in this battle. And then Abomavumengwane Kantuli Umkhosana wakwabiyela of Egazini. They say that as they were preparing for this battle, wasukuma wagiya wadlala kuthiwa yamshaya inhlamvu. When he fell back, they continued to rally behind him because they thought he was still dancing, only to find that he was shot. And we say, may your soul rest in peace as the regiments of that time, and we hope to carry your spirit even today in fighting this pandemic.
So King Cetshwayo took these ultimatums as an insult to the Zulu nation, because this meant that Zulus had to relinquish who they are. They had to forget about their spirituality, forget about their cultures, forget about their lifestyles. So now at that stage, it meant that they were faced with a reality, or they were confronted by the reality. They were forced to go to the battlefield. Bear in mind that as they were going to this battlefield, they were only armed with cowhide shields, spears, amambata, Zulu regalia, animal skins, amabeshu. That's the only thing that they were armed with. As they were faced with these soldiers that were armed with the most modified guns, that was called Martini Henry.
In 1861, there was a gun called Martini Henry. Martini Henry was taken to Switzerland, and then there was an engineer called Friedrich von Martin. This is why it's called Martini Henry. And then they said he worked on the power of the spring, so that when the hammer hits the firing pin, the gun could kill more than 2 people at a time. And then later it was taken to Henry of Scotland. This is why it's called Martini Henry, because Martini worked on the power of the spring, and then Henry worked on the barrel. Historically, they say that the olden guns used to oversmoke a lot during the battle, and now that's how many got conquered, so they had to modify this gun for that. So in 1861, they said the gun was tested. Around 1866, 1871 it was manufactured. So by the time they met us in 1878, these people were ready. In the preparation of the battlefield, of the battle in the battlefield, this is what was used before. Upondo, others say impondo. I remember after 1910 when Shembe formed Ibanda Lama Nazareta, Imbom actually was not called Imbom, it was called Impondo, because Amanazareta used this before. They came up with what you call Imbom today, what you call today Vuvuzela with plastic, but originally this is what was used. But it used to produce different sound. You have Itilongo or Upondo that is used to summon people for the battle, and then you have Upondo that you would say, oh, it's an imbizo or a meeting today. So it used to produce a different sound. So I think this is Nkomazi. Let's check the sound. So, and then people, because of the sound, would know, oh, this one is for imbizo. This is one for imbizo. This one is for the war. So we need to understand these things. We need to understand who we are, because even this corona has become part of our history. Therefore, we can't say because we are faced with corona and then we forget who we are. So asife sibe siya phambili, sehluleke sizamile ingane zethu ziyodinga ukuzazi ukuthi zingobani. And then there are things like war cries, izaga, not to be confused with the proverbs. Isaga, as in a proverb. Isaga in a proverb is a statement that is made based on certain event. For instance, if someone who is lazy, siyasithi, hey, inkanku idla amacimbi ngokwandulelisa. That's a proverb, isaga, esikhuthaza umuntu ukuthi akhuthale ngoba inkanku kwaziwa ukuthi yona eyakha amacimbi bese wabeka ezihlahleni bese yandulelisa ngokunye. So it means you need to forever carry that hard-working mentality. I mean, as an African, sometimes when people are preparing for the battle, would be inspired by different things. It's a smoke that they maybe they sensing from inyamazane, the incense that are being burnt in the preparation of the battle, or sometimes is the sound of induku maikhala, you know. So they would say, "Ikhalaphi, ikhalaphi, indukethu sizangosi, ikhalaphi, 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 indukethu sizangosi, ikhalaphi." So now usi is actually the smell. So when they mabezwa smell senyamazane, or they are sensing the smell of the incense of these incense that are burned to stir courage. Regiments, they would say ikhalaphi because bezwa intelezi, bezwa inyamazane nephunga lenyamazane bese bethi ikhala. So now it means again izaka, they capture the moment, because as these inyamazane are being burnt, someone composed, you know. And again uNtshingwa kaMahole Khoza, who was a general commander of this battle, but because Omlife and other Zulu people were fighting on the side of the English regiment, others used even the oldest gun. It was called Richards, but you know it wasn't much because they were not even trained on how to aim, you know, with those guns. So uNtshingwayo wakhala. It was around 3 a.m. wathi Zithutha ziyangithunukela, kuzithutha ziyangithunukela, kankhuzithutha ziyangithunukela, kuzithutha ziyangithunukela, emangeni So bathi, so when Cetshwayo says kuzithutha ziyangithunukela, he is actually saying, because tutor in English, it's someone who has no thinking capacity, a foolish individual. We are brothers with these people, but when they betray us, and then he composed this particular war cry. You know, so it's very important that we know who we are. And when we look at the issues of this pandemic, you ask yourself, which as a nation now, we have fought the Battle of Isandlwana, we have fought the Battle of Indondakusuka 1856, we have fought the Battle of Ingome 1838, we have fought the Battle of Ugqokli, lapha between uZwide noKodongwane, uShaka Mphezulu. That battle was led by people like Abomachana, Oskhobo, Wasbiya, Bempepe Kwendabe, kuthiwa wadundubala uShaka wayibuka lehambi. Today we are fighting a different battle. We are fighting a battle that says we need to present ourselves as thinkers, not as entertainers. As well as only and never tap into the intellectuality of our forefathers to a level of a metaphysical of who we are, where we are able to connect with those who have departed. And then we will get our answers as a nation. You can imagine if families were to go back to their cultural values, bahlale phansi bathi la ekhaya singenza umsebenzi wokuthi sibike lesifo esikhona, umndeni nomndeni ubike izinkinga zawo emsamo wawo, siyisizwe bese sihamba siyogibela entabeni sikhulume nomkhubulwane ukuthi sonile siyonile imvelo, sibulalene sodwa, samonelana sodwa, sathakathana sodwa. Now it's time to cleanse our souls as Africans. I think we'll have answers. Because we can't rely on the government only, because the government is employed by you. So now, as umphakathi, you need to help the government to come up with these solutions.
When they were faced with the regiments, before they crossed this valley and bathwala ngeifuba kuthiwa, they sang a hunting spree song. Mihlambi yezinkomo nabantu, umkhonto inyamazane, osathetha amacala. Kubuhlungu kwehlulwa ngabelungu, sinomkhonto kaZulu, sesingamane siwathetha amacala. Yandindya nomkhonto inyamazane, wemabandla sesithabile, sesingamane siwathetha amacala. Asingela ngabo ntanyeni, athi umkhonto inyama zimkhotha moyeni, athi sesingamane siwathetha amacala. As they were singing this song, the regiments were busy, trying to calm their nerves. Maybe they're going to talk to us. No, they're not going to kill us. They're going to talk to us. And they were sweating. And then they were reminded of their own song that can be dated back as far as 1200th century, the Halech song. They were busy analyzing our harmony. They said, they don't have tenors. It's unison. We can beat them. And then they started to sing their own song. Man of Halech, stop your dreaming. Can't you see their spears come streaming? See the warriors' pennants streaming to the battlefield. Sing!
Man of Halech, stop your dreaming. Can't you see the spear points gleaming? See the warriors' pennants streaming. Men of Halech, stop your dreaming. Can't you see the spear points gleaming? See the warriors' pennants streaming to this
The rest is history.
So now, kuthiwa yathi silwile impi yaseSandlwana, sekulela amahashi elimhlophe elimnyama kulela umuntu omnyama omhlophe nomnyama, kuthiwa izisu zayibhamulwa yilanga kuhloka amabhalunde abantu belele entabeni. Kuthiwa abanye ngenxa yokuthi, as I said earlier, that King Cetshwayo was against the idea of going to the battlefield because he cared about his own people. Kuthiwa batho kandaba akazasho ukuthi siyempini. Abanye bavuka bathi impi yamadube, kulela omnyama nomhlophe, azingathi kulela amadube eSandlwana kwenzakalani. Kuthiwa ke khona wavela wathi mina ngiyayisaba lempi, sengiyayisaba lempi kwasala amaduna kandaba eSandlwana, kanti yaba kashongo njalo Zulu salane mpama amadube Sandlwana akashongo njalo kandawo salane amadube eSandlwana bathi hama ngisilawa salane besandlwana ihamadu besandlwana sandlwana. So this particular ihubo is very important for this battle, and it was recorded by many people, like Ubaba Umqashiyo recorded this song. Even the movies around Isandlwana were recorded around this song.
This battle ended on the 4th of July at Ondini. This battle led to the battles like the Rogue's Drift, the Battle of Eshiane, where people died from substances like paraffin because it was too hot. People had to try and survive and use everything that was around them, and then that's how they died.